Welcome, Wanderer. My name is Mark, and we are going to read the best speech that a king can give after violently taking the crown from his first cousin, the king, and now he wants everyone to get along just as if nothing had happened. And so, and if it please your majesty, we are at the very beginning of William Shakespeare's masterpiece, his play, King Henry IV, Part 1, Scene 1. London, the palace. Enter King Henry, Lord John of Lancaster, the Earl of Westmoreland, Sir Walter Blunt, and others. And King Henry, in addressing his nobles, says, "So shaken as we are, so wan with care, find we a time for frighted peace to pant, and breathe short-winded accents of new broils to be commenced in strands afar remote. No more the thirsty entrance of this soil shall daub her lips with her own children's blood. No more shall trenching war channel her fields, nor bruise her flowerets with the armed hooves of hostile paces. Those opposed eyes, which, like the meteors of a troubled heaven, all of one nature, of one substance bred, did lately meet in the intestine shock and furious close of civil butchery, shall now, in mutual well-beseeming ranks, march all one way, and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master." And that's something. It really is. So how does he say this? So shaken as we are, so wan with care, right? We're very shaken up. We're very wan with care. Maybe wan means like to want, or maybe we need care. We're very wounded here. We're shaken up. We just got over this kind of like, I guess, a civil war. I guess it's kind of like a civil war. In the previous play, Richard II was the king, but he was not a good king. And so Henry IV here, who in that play was known as Henry Bolingbroke, took the crown, what they call usurping the crown. And he did so because he gathered together an army of other nobles, and they're all part of the same family pretty much, to take the crown away from Richard II and give it to Henry, who becomes Henry IV, because Henry IV he's a better king, believes he's a better king, and he is a better king, better at managing things. And but it was, it shook things up a lot. A lot of people didn't like that. So now what he's trying to do is say, okay, we just got through that. Now we're going to have some time to catch our breath. And he says, breathe short-winded accents of new broils to be commenced in strands afar remote. Right? We're going to have new broils, but they're going to be in places far away, not in England. And specifically, he means the Holy Land. He wants to go on, what do they call it? A crusade. I want to go on a crusade to the Holy Land. And what I like about reading Shakespeare is that you don't have to know what every single word means. I don't have to know what every single word means. I could look it up. And sometimes I do that, but a lot of times I don't. I'm too lazy. So I just look at, right, to be commenced in strands. I've never seen the word strands, or at least not used in that way. But from the context I know, from the words around it, I know what that means. It means in places afar remote. And strand, you can think of strand, I guess it kind of sounds like the word stranded, right? I'm stranded somewhere, like someplace, I'm in some place, I'm on ground, solid ground, but I have no idea where it is, and it's far away from anything that I know. No more the thirsty entrance of this soil shall daub her lips with her own children's blood. That's so gruesome and so beautiful. So beautifully written, the thirsty entrance of this soil. In the previous play, in Richard II, Shakespeare works with this metaphor of England as a beautiful garden that is watered with the blood of English soldiers. And here he just continues that working with that metaphor. Shall daub her lips with her own children's blood. England it gave birth to the children, and her own children are now slaughtering each other, and the blood is going down, and now the mother, the land of England, is drinking it, and she's going to daub her lips with her own children's blood. Right? You think of it, it makes me think like daubing, almost like her lips are red with the blood, or maybe that she's got like so much blood that she has to somehow like wipe the blood away. It's like running down her chin. I mean, it's really kind of gruesome the way he does this, giving you this image. Nor bruise her flowerets with the armed hooves of hostile paces. Oh no, sorry, no, I skipped the line. No more shall trenching war channel her fields, nor bruise her flowerets with the armed hooves of hostile paces. Here we have again the garden, not just flowers but flowerets. We have fields, right? But what's happening to the fields? The horses of the armies are digging trenches in them. Trenching war makes me think of trench warfare. Shakespeare was writing well before World War I, so I don't think he could have possibly had the image of the trenches of that war in his mind, but it's certainly in our mind, and certainly in mine. It makes me think of that, and how like what a horrible image that is compared to the image of fields and flowerets. Those opposed eyes, which like the meteors of a troubled heaven. So opposed eyes, right? The eyes, right? We are opposed to each other. We are enemies. Which, like the meteors of a troubled heaven. I don't know how well people understood astronomy in those days, 400 years ago, but they definitely, I guess they thought that the meteors, when they saw a meteor shower, it meant that heaven was troubled, that there was some kind of a problem in heaven. And that probably foretold that there was, where there's going to be trouble. If there's trouble in heaven, then there's definitely going to be trouble on earth. And so, all of one nature. So maybe they thought that the meteors all came from the same thing. Maybe they thought it came from a star, like as a star breaking apart, or a star, I don't know. Of one nature, of one substance bred, right? We're all of the same family. We're all Englishmen. We're all descended from these same previous rulers, and of one substance bred, did lately meet in the intestine shock and furious close of civil butchery. I've never seen the word intestine used that way. Trying to think about what it means. Maybe intestine makes me think of testators, meaning like bequeathing property to people in your family, perhaps. Or perhaps it's also just related, it gives you the idea of like the intestine in the body. You think about like this place where it's very close inside and twisted and gross, and kind of just like you imagine like soldiers fighting in an intestine, and just like the whole like image makes me feel a little sick. And furious close is being used as a noun there, not as a verb. I think of the word kind of like the word closet, or a close. I think in Shakespeare a close meant something that was just closed up. A furious close of civil butchery. The contrast civilized, and butchery, right? Cutting each other to pieces. Shall now, in mutual well-beseeming ranks, march all one way and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master. That's beautiful. In mutual well-beseeming ranks. Nobody's going to get out of line, in other words. We're all going to do the same thing. We're all going to march one way. We're all going to be on we'll have the same idea, march all one way towards the Holy Land to go on a crusade, and be no more opposed against acquaintance, kindred, and allies. I love that. That's the acquaintance, kindred, and allies. The edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master. This is part of Shakespeare's beautiful art here, how he's able to have this whole idea and go into such detail of it, such beautiful imagery, and really flesh out this idea. And then he'll have a line or a line and a half to close the whole thing up, to really sum it up, like the edge of war, like an ill-sheathed knife, no more shall cut his master. That's what's really going on here. In other words, we have the ability to make war, but we should not be cutting ourselves with this war. We should be going somewhere else and doing something to them, so that way we can help ourselves or help our souls. But he's not going to get there, but we'll see. That's all I wanted to read today. Thanks for listening. Till next time.